Sean scared them all. Good morning. I'd like to welcome you to the Brookings County Commission meeting, December 17th, 2024. We start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Will you please stand? Item number 3 on the agenda is approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
I have a motion second. Any additions, corrections?
Yes, we need to add exec session in accordance with SDCL 125-2-1 for personnel.
Okay. Any other comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Item number 4 is an invitation for a citizen to schedule time on a commission agenda for an item not listed. There's a 5-minute time limit per person. Anyone wanting to speak during this agenda item must sign in prior to the start of the meeting. No commission action will be taken during this agenda item. Any requested action item may be scheduled for a future meeting. We have nobody sign in this morning, so we'll move on to item number 5. Consent agenda items includes the minutes, travel and education requests, personnel action notices, cider authorizations, and human services report. Do I have a motion to approve?
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any additions or corrections? Any comments? Hearing none, call roll, please.
Vanderwall.
Aye.
Bartley.
Aye.
Krogman.
Aye.
Hostler.
Aye.
Jensen.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item number 6 is routine business, approval of the claims. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any comments? Hearing none, call a roll, please.
Bartley.
Aye.
Krogman.
Aye.
Hostler.
Aye.
Vanderwall.
Aye.
Jensen.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item B on the agenda is department head reports. Brian, will you start with the highway department?
Morning.
Morning.
Not a whole lot new to report. A little ice this weekend, but it was pretty hit and miss. We were out on one point on Saturday, but we were pretty lucky. A lot of the ice stayed south. Of course, today we're supposed to get anywhere between 1 and 5 inches, so we'll see what today brings. But between then, we've been working on some crack sealing and hauling some P-rock.
Okay. Any questions for Brian?
Thank you.
Marty from the Sheriff's Office.
Morning.
Morning.
First, I just want to thank Commissioner Krogman and Bartley for sticking with me on the jail expansion through our. I think I brought it to the commission for 5 years, saying how I was out of space and stuff, and then we finally got going, and it took us 4 years to get her going. But I appreciate you for everything you've done to help us get that expansion going and stuff. So thank you for your service. Just quickly for the jail, right now we have 40 inmates. 16 of them are Brookings County inmates. The rest are out of county. I only have 2 from the U.S. Marshal Service, and it's been like that. But as I talked before, I think after January, we'll probably get our inmates back after that. 24/7, we have increased from, I think it was 2 weeks ago, we had 127. We have 141 in there now. I have 54 on PBTs, so 108 come in during the day for that. I have 11 on remote test. I have 11 on scram. 54 on UAs come in twice a week. I have 7 on drug court. 11 on DUI court. And so we continue to stay busy in the 24/7 area. Because of the lack of inmates from the U.S. Marshal Service, I predicted that we'd probably bring in $1 million for jail fees, and I came short. It's about between $700,000 and $800,000 with. So hopefully next. I guess I don't look for inmates, but we got to help pay for the place, and I got to do what I can to. I have raised the rate for next year from 95 to 105, which is still probably pretty reasonable for that for jail stays. So. We've been, the school resource and my investigators have been busy in Elkton at the school. We've had 4 students that have indicated that they were either going to shoot up the school or put a bomb in the school. The first 3, we put in about 11 hours of investigations in the first 3, which I put together, and I'm going to send over to Dan and see if we can get any restitution from the officers' time. I think these kids, at the time, we don't know if it's a prank or what they're doing. And so we got to investigate it. It's the real thing until we find out it's not. I have 2 officers over there today now visiting with this as a school assembly to talk about how serious it is, to say that they're going to shoot up the school or we take it serious, and that I have 0 tolerance for anything that's said. We charge him with a terroristic threat, and the paperwork goes to the state's attorney's office for his follow-through. So, any questions about? Otherwise, we've been staying busy. We had a couple fires yesterday. Could have been a major fire at Lake Campbell. They were able to save the house, and it was basically the garage that went, and they called out all the fire departments because we were worried about the homes next to it and stuff. So. Other than that, unless you have some questions.
Any other questions for Sheriff? No, thank you.
Thank you.
Lori from Finance?
About the only thing I have today is to tell you that yesterday was our annual tax sale for certificates, and we had no one come, which did not surprise me due to the change in law last year. It used to be where a delinquent tax, we published it in November. If it was not paid, the 3rd Monday of December, we did the tax sale, which was actually the sale of the taxes, not the property. Investors would come, most of them from Nebraska and Iowa, and pay the taxes. It was a way for them to make money with getting interest on the property. After they paid those for 3 to 6 years, they could do a tax deed and take the property by tax deed. This has happened maybe twice, 2 or 3 times since I started way back in the 90s, so it doesn't happen often. Because we did this process, it was a way for the county to get its tax dollars paid. We apportion it out to the schools, the townships, the towns, and they could pay, they planned on that money. I know we'll be getting a call from Brookings School District for sure saying, what's the deal? Because this year, the amount of taxes was around $350,000 that was not paid. Before this year, Brookings County was one of the top with unpaid taxes. We had maybe $1,400 to $1,800 unpaid every year. So we were sitting really good with unpaid taxes. This year, we've got 204 properties, roughly $350,000 that is unpaid. I don't anticipate that will change. I think it's going to be that way every year because investors don't want to have to take that property and then within a year sell that property by public sale and give the proceeds back to the person who never paid their taxes to begin with. I have talked with some of the legislators and told them my views on it. I know others have too, so I don't know if that's something that will change down the road. I think it started with a case in Minnesota, and it was to solve one problem, they created another essentially. So hopefully they'll come up a way to fix that. So we're sitting with a lot higher amount of unpaid taxes this year. Our office will be getting a new system for our Encode, our Tyler system, beginning of January, and then a new motor vehicle system rolls out in February. So you might expect a little bit of chaos when you come to our office at the beginning of the year. Hopefully that will all go smooth. Other than that, I don't really have anything. Do you have any questions?
Any questions?
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Bartley and Commissioner Krogman. It's been fun getting to know you. I feel like that's just been the last little bit of the year that I've really gotten to know you guys, but I appreciate everything you've done.
Bob, Community Development.
Good morning. On my staff report that I sent out, there's a couple important things. One is our pre-disaster mitigation plan. Our final meeting on that is going to be at the December 30th, 1 p.m. in room 300. That should finalize the actual pre-disaster mitigation plan so we can get it submitted to FEMA. And the other one is that deadline of April 23rd, 2025 for the new FEMA flood map adoption. That is not a flexible date. If we do not have that map adopted by then, we will lose our national flood insurance policy backing. So FEMA said we've been attending FEMA meetings. I attended one last week. Richard's going to attend a Zoom meeting today. We got that paperwork started. The zoning board will start hearing the zoning ordinance update in January, so we can get it to this board in time for you guys to approve it on a timely manner. Next, on Thursday, I've got a tabletop exercise of the United Living Community. And then on January 7th, with your permission, I plan on going to DeSmit, the Summit Pipeline, CO2 pipeline. They're having some first responder training. And they requested that Brookings County have first responder training on the CO2 pipeline. And I requested to attend this training in DeSmit. I want to see what's going on, what type of training it is before I do it for Brookings County. I've got no problem doing it for Brookings County. I just want to be aware of what the training is and what it all encompasses and what's covered by it. So that will happen on January 7th. And of course, there is 4 different meetings close by on the Summit Pipeline on January 15th and 16th. They've got meetings in Mitchell, Sioux Falls on the 15th, and DeSmit and Watertown on January 16th. And between now and then, I'll be talking to the county commission to see if you're going to attend one meeting, I might go to another town's meeting just to make sure we get coverage and it's important for the public to know that we're out there concerned about the pipeline, and we want to get all the information we can on it.
Is, Bob, the January 7th meeting, is that specifically for first responders?
Yes, that's only for first responders, and I can get you the information. I've got them emailing me the specific information on it.
Okay.
And since we're on the Summit Pipeline, as I mentioned last week or last couple of meetings, we have applied for party status through the Public Utilities Commission. Public Utilities Commission sent me an email asking that I modify our request. And so we sent in a modification that's going to be heard today at the Public Utilities Commission. And basically what the modification is, it's Brookings County Commission, and it has our state's attorney's name as they wanted a lawyer's contact on it. And when I submitted, I didn't put a lawyer's contact, and I did put the county commission. But they said, since you're the elected body, it needs to go through. So we just modified it. We'll still get all the information. The biggest change is the information will go through the county commission office, and then it can be shared throughout all the department heads in the county. And of course, the state's attorney is involved as your legal representative. And we'll do weather next. We do have a system coming in. They estimate at 9 a.m. today, it will be snowing outside. They estimate December 7th, which is today, 5 p.m., we will still have snowfall in Brookings County. The worst of it's going to be between 9 and noon, and then by 5 o'clock, it's going to start tapering off a little bit. But they are calling 2 to 4 with possible isolated pockets around 5 inches. And it looks, just from the maps, that the isolated areas around White and possibly Oakton. So, and then our last but not least, the topic is our Madera Township project. We, of course, we got Banners Associated under contract to help us, and they're working on an operations manual. The National Conservation Resource Service has reviewed it at the state level and the national level. They brought back some recommendations. Those recommendations right now are being updated onto the operations plan, and then they'll get that back out to us, and I'll share it with the whole commission at the time as a drainage board. So first part of next year, I would probably be looking for we'll have a drainage meeting just and go over that plan and figure out what the game plan's going to be for the rest of the year. Any questions?
Any questions, Bob?
And as I'm leaving, thank you, Commissioner Krogman. I've worked with you for many, many years, and Commissioner Bartley, on behalf of the Brookings County Planning Commission, we do thank you for your service, and I thank you personally. I've enjoyed it. It's been a fun ride. Thank you.
Thank you. On department head reports, we had documents from county development. We have documents from the Whedon past in front of us.
Whedon Pest Supervisor Misty Moser had a family emergency come up this morning, wasn't able to get here. Her intent was to be here.
Okay. We can look through those. If you have any questions, get hold of Misty. On finances officer's report, there's some be it noted items. Auditor's account with the treasurer, payroll and additive totals, highway expenditure report, and the register of deeds statement of fees collected. We do have a scheduled 9 o'clock. We'll move down to regular business. Item A is action to approve resolution number 24-55, a plat of tract 1 of Wing Rig Addition in the northwest quarter of section 27, township 110 north, range 47 west of the 5th principal meridian, Brookings County, South Dakota. Do I have a motion to approve?
Move approval. Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any comments?
This was heard at our December planning and zoning meeting, passed unanimously and sent to this board with a recommendation that you approve it.
Okay. Any other questions? Hearing none, call the roll, please.
Krogman?
Aye.
Hostler?
Aye.
Vanderwall?
Aye.
Bartley?
Aye.
Jensen?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item B, action to approve resolution number 24-56, a plat of tract 1, Barnett Addition in the northeast quarter of section 7, township 110 north, range 49 west of the 5th prime meridian, Brookings County, South Dakota. A motion to approve.
So moved. Second.
A motion and a second. Any comments?
Once again, we heard this in our December planning and zoning meeting, passed unanimously and sent to this board with a recommendation that you approve it.
Okay. Call the roll, please.
Hostler?
Aye.
Vanderwall?
Aye.
Bartley?
Aye.
Krogman?
Aye.
Jensen?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item C, action to approve resolution number 24-57, a plat of Netch Addition located in the northeast quarter of section 5, township 112 north, range 48 west of the 5th prime meridian, Brookings County, South Dakota. Do I have a motion to approve?
Move approval. Second.
A motion and a second. Any comments?
Passed in the December planning and zoning meeting, sent to this board with a recommendation that you approve it.
Okay. Any questions, Bob? Call the roll.
Vanderwall.
Aye.
Bartley.
Aye.
Krogman.
Aye.
Hosler.
Aye.
Jensen.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bob. Item number D is action to approve resolution number 24-58, the 2025 pay plan resolution. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any comments?
This resolution sets the positions, the number of employees or FTEs, full-time equivalents, in each of those positions, and the wage grades for each of those approved positions for 2025 by department. Also included in the packet, kind of behind this resolution, was the updated spreadsheet showing the FTE changes that we've had kind of over the kind of a 10-year look back, so you can see that as well.
Okay. Any questions? Call the roll, please.
Bartley.
Aye.
Krogman.
Aye.
Hosler.
Aye.
Vanderwall.
Aye.
Jensen.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item E, action to approve resolution number 24-59 for year 2024 contingency transfers. The motion approved.
So moved. Second.
Motion and second. Comments?
You typically see a contingency resolution this time of the year as we have reviewed budgets and see where there was maybe some extra dollars needed. So that's what this resolution does. I just want to say, give kind of kudos to our departments this year. I think we have like just over 600,000 budgeted for contingency, and we've done just over 66,000. So people really watched their budgets and stayed within budgets this year, and this was fantastic to see as we were going through. So just appreciate everyone's efforts this year in keeping to their budgets.
Okay. Any questions? Call the roll, please.
Krogman.
Aye.
Hosler.
Aye.
Vanderwall.
Aye.
Bartley.
Aye.
Jensen.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item I, action to approve a cash transfer from General Fund 101 to the Jail Expansion Debt Service Fund 402 in the amount of $1,200. Do I have a motion to approve?
Move approval. Second.
I have a motion and a second. Comments?
This kind of tags along with this contingency resolution. We had to take contingency and move it to that 402 fund. You can see that. That's right here at the end where we had to do some transfers out to a different fund. So then we need the separate action to also transfer the cash from the general fund to the 402 fund. So this is what that action does.
Okay. Any other comments? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Item F, action to approve agreement number 24-97, agreement for detention services between Minnehaha County, Lutheran Social Services, South Dakota, and Brookings County. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
A motion and a second. Any comments?
This is basically JDC care in case we need it for 2025. We approve this agreement with kind of with Minnehaha County for JDC and Lutheran Social Services shelter care. Price did increase. JDC increased just over $39 per day to that $497.80 per day. And then the shelter care through Lutheran Social Services went up just shy of $7 a day to $6.94 to $296.14 per day.
Okay. Marty, any comments? Dan?
I mean, it's just really expensive, but we don't have a choice. So,
Do we have any comments as to how often we have to use this service?
I mean, we watch it closely. Some kids just need detention, though, because they're a danger to themselves and the community. So, I mean, we really, really scrutinize that, you know, myself, the judge, to determine that. But, you know, this certainly is top of mind, but there are times that we just have to incarcerate juveniles, unfortunately, so.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions? Hearing none, call the roll, please.
Hostler.
Aye.
Vanderwall.
Aye.
Bartley.
Aye.
Krogman.
Aye.
Jensen.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item G, action to approve agreement number 24-98, an agreement for general law enforcement services between Brookings County, the Brookings County Sheriff, and the City of Volga. Do I have a motion to approve?
Move to approve. Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any comments?
The only comment I have is that the city of Waukee did contract for 60 hours a week, and now they contract for 80 hours because of their growth.
So basically, Volga went up 20 hours per week. Okay. Any other comments? Hearing none, call roll, please.
Vanderwall.
Aye.
Bartley.
Aye.
Krogman.
Aye.
Hostler.
Aye.
Jensen.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item H, action to approve agreement number 24-99, an agreement for general law enforcement services between Brookings County, the Brookings County Sheriff, and the City of Aurora. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any comments here?
The only comment is they stayed at the same hours of 10 a week, but I increased the hourly rate to $41 for all 4 communities.
Okay.
So they stayed the same hours, but they increased the hourly.
Alrighty. Any other questions? Call the roll.
Bartley.
Aye.
Krogman.
Aye.
Hostler.
Aye.
Vanderwall.
Aye.
Jensen.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item I, action to approve agreement number 24-100, an agreement for general law enforcement services between the Brookings County Sheriff, and the City of White. Do I have a motion to approve?
Move approval.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any comments?
White is the same item,
They just stayed the same?
stayed the same, yes, as far as 10 hours a week with increase of.
Okay. Alrighty, any other comments? Call the roll, please.
Krogman.
Aye.
Hostler.
Aye.
Vanderwall.
Aye.
Bartley.
Aye.
Jensen.
Aye.
Motion carries.
How many hours do they have a week? In White, how many hours do they have?
They have 10.
10, okay. Item J, action to approve agreement number 24-101, an agreement for general law enforcement services between the Brookings County Sheriff, and the City of Elkton. Do I have a motion to approve?
Move approval. Second.
Motion and a second. Any comments?
The city of Elton contracts for 18 hours a week, and they stayed at the
Okay. No increase there either then.
dollar, just the hour rate.
Okay. Any other comments? Call the roll.
Hostler.
Aye.
Vanderwall.
Aye.
Bartley.
Aye.
Krogman.
Aye.
Jensen.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item K, action approve the adjusted urban boundaries around the city of Brookings made by the Federal Highway Administration. Do I have a motion to approve?
Move approval. Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any comments? Brian,
The city's doing updating their urban boundaries, and you can see that it's expanded just a little bit. Particularly the road that we're interested in is on 214th Street, and that will change the classification of 214th. We will have a follow-up to change the rest of 214th to a collector, which will then make us eligible for the grants that we intend to pursue on that particular stretch.
that will come at a later date then?
Correct.
Correct. This just expands the boundaries around Brookings. Does it increase or decrease the city limits or?
Very minor in areas. It's all depending on the census and growth, isn't it?
It doesn't change the boundaries of the city.
Okay, just the
The city's boundaries cannot change unless they do a formal annexation.
Okay.
So this is just these urban boundaries is what they call it, but it's not actually city limits.
right.
Yeah. All right. Any other questions? Call the roll, please.
Vanderwall.
Aye.
Bartley.
Aye.
Krogman.
Aye.
Hostler.
Aye.
Jensen.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item L, action to automatically supplement for unanticipated expenses incurred and reimbursement made to the Brookings County for 911 remittance receipt number 007-09007 to general line 207-4-225-4220 in the amount of $37,739.55. Do I have a motion to approve?
So move.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any comments?
This is essentially kind of money in, money out through the finance office. This is the 911 remittance fees that we receive, and then the money that comes in, we disperse that back to the E911 call center. More money came in this year than we had budgeted for, so this is supplementing that unanticipated revenue, extra revenue that we received within that fund.
Okay. They anticipate the 911 increase in the future, or?
That will all be handled through the E911 board. I'm not sure how
Okay.
I think the police department has a way to kind of anticipate what the remittance fees will be, and that's all kind of worked through with the E911 budget.
Okay. Call the roll, please.
Bartley?
Aye.
Krogman?
Aye.
Hostler?
Aye.
Vanderwall?
Aye.
Jensen?
Aye.
Motion carries.
It is 9 o'clock. We have a scheduled agenda item, a public hearing and action to approve the transfer of retail on-sale wine and cider license from Good Roots Farm and Garden to Good Roots Farm and Garden LLC. That motion approved.
Move approval.
Second.
The motion second. I will now open the public hearing. Any proponents would like to speak to this agenda item? Any proponents? Is there any proponents that like to speak to this agenda item? Hearing none. Opponents. Is there any opponents that would like to speak? Any opponents? Okay, at this time, I'd close the public hearing. Any additional comments from the board?
This is simply kind of a business model change. They're changing over from Good Roots Farm and Garden to Good Roots Farm and Garden LLC. Because of that business change, then the transfer of the license has to happen. So,
Okay. Call the roll, please.
Yes, and just one additional comment, as Stacy had mentioned, but also to you, back at your June 18th meeting, you had approved that transfer for their malt beverage in South Dakota Farm Wine. So this, like Stacy said, would just be for their wine and cider license, so just cleaning it up.
All right. Call the roll, please.
Krogman?
Aye.
Hostler?
Aye.
Vanderwall?
Aye.
Bartley?
Aye.
Jensen?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item B on scheduled agenda item is Collins Waska, Banner and Associates, discussion on the 2024 bridge inspections.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm just here today to give a little update on this year's bridge inspection findings and give you guys a chance to ask any questions. So if you recall, in 2023, the decision was made to split the bridge inspections in half on the county. So basically, we're doing east of I-29 and west of I-29. This year was the bridges on the west side of I-29. In total, I looked at 83 structures that are over 20 feet on the national inventory, as well as 18 on the county system that are under 20 feet. 5 of those structures I looked at were east of 29 on the annual cycle. There were no bridges I came across this year that required load postings that weren't previously posted. There were a handful of bridges that the load postings changed. In one case, it was just we updated the load rating with a new system or a new model, and it just changed what the posting was. One is at Trust Bridge to the north of Volga, where I found fractured eye bars on it, and I think we currently have it closed, but I did do a load rating on that, and I think we still need to decide how we're gonna proceed, if we want to open it at that load posting or just keep it closed. This year I did came across 3 structures that I moved from a 2-year cycle to a 1-year cycle, in part just because now that we're doing some bridges every year, it's not as inconvenient to have some on a 1-year cycle, and I just feel more comfortable getting to look at these structures every year versus every 2 years. And most of these structures are structures that we have done preliminary engineering studies on, and it's just a matter of time before we can proceed with a set of replacement plans or getting a grant for replacement. Continued things I've seen, there are some older steel beam bridges that have concrete decks from the 40s, 50s that the concrete is heavily deteriorated, eating away on the edges. Most of these have had planning grant or preliminary engineering studies done, and I think the ones that haven't, we have all but one we now have grants or preliminary engineering in process on. So another common theme is anything with timber piles or timber bent caps or abutment caps. There's several, I'll say, decent structures out there where I'm encountering decay in the abutment pile cap, and that's going to be a problem sometime. I think it's something that, you know, we can look at a rehabilitation rather than a full replacement on some of these, but it's just going to be a matter of finding what the right process is for that and getting a contractor in place to do the work. And I'll be working with Brian and going through how we want to handle some of those. And then other ones would be ones with timber bents, multi-span structures. And most of the two of them that we've looked at are scheduled for replacement. They're under contract. They'll be construction should begin this spring sometime on those 2. 2 more that have had preliminary engineering studies on, that are ready to move forward with replacement. We just need to take that next step. Going forward, still working on developing a workable GIS system for Brookings County to use for a way to track, identify and track repairs, maintenance that should be done on these bridges. The goal of this is just to make it more clear what needs to be done, when it should be done, and so we have a record in place for any future bridge replacement grant applications where the state requires that we provide maintenance or documentation of maintenance. And other things would just be, once we have that in place, identify some more routine maintenance, more intensive maintenance for like these newer concrete bridges that we have out there. We should get out there and seal the decks more often, or actually go through and individually seal cracks and then do flood seals on them. And these are all things that we're working towards, but there's still a lot of catch up on getting bridges replaced as well. So that's all I have. If you have any questions for me.
You mentioned earlier on the bridge north of 14, that truss bridge. Will we be discussing it in the future, or is it time now to discuss if we're going to close it or repair?
Currently, the bridge is closed as recommended by Colin when he conducted the bridge inspection until he can, formulate the load rating, which is now come across recommended as 4 ton. So we're talking 8,000 pounds. And if we look at a 1 ton or 3/4 ton pickup, we're teetering on that edge of 4 ton with one vehicle. That's with nothing behind it. I guess it would be my recommendation with the locality of it on a minimum maintenance road on one side from Volga Township and and the other side being in Brookings Township. It's a very lightly traveled road. I'm not sure if a decision needs to be made today, but I think some action on the highway department's part needs to install something a little more permanent out there. Our sign now, since the recommendation came back from Colin from Banner and Associates, we've found our signs 3 times now dispersed into the river. As it is on a minimum maintenance road, so we picked them out of the river and put them back up, so who knows what had been traveling over it in the meantime there. But I guess I don't know if a decision needs to be made like today, like I said, as the usage of the bridge and the equipment that would be crossing it would probably be pretty light compared to in the spring. But I know I've had a conversation with a couple of the commission on, is there a repair? And I've talked with Colin about that some, but 4 ton isn't a whole lot.
Is the 4 ton after repaired or current?
Current.
That's based on current.
But if those eye bolts were repaired, what do you expect?
I don't know that there is a repair. In order to replace those eye bars, you'd have to disassemble parts of the truss that have been rusting for a century. And I don't know that that's going to happen. Okay. And just because those broken eye bars are there, there's still one more eye bar there in those portions of the truss. I don't know the condition of those. I can try and clean them up, dye penetrant, look for any tiny cracks, but there may be a micro crack in there that I can't see. Yeah. And it's that next crack that entire bridge goes down. So I think it could be reopened at 4 tons. The problem is the ride quality across there isn't great. You can't control people's speed. You can put a sign up, but there were signs up. Mm-hmm. They didn't listen. Somebody drove over it, overweight is my assumption. That's what caused that damage. And I don't know if there's a safe way to reopen it.
Okay. Well, probably later you can bring a report back and recommendation. As of now, it's closed. I think I would put more permanent barricades up and go from there.
I do like the idea of putting some cement blocks there, so it's can't be just thrown away. I mean, safety of our people is important. That's number one. Number two, I mean, for discussion purposes, how old is that bridge again? Is it a 1915 or am I close?
I am not 100% sure. I'm thinking it's 1910, 1905-ish.
Okay, so it celebrated a 100th birthday some years ago.
Yes.
As far as a cost estimate, I understand that we may or may not, but for our discussion purposes, I think it'd be good if we had a number so that we, could work with.
For replacement?
No,
or
for just repair.
For repair.
But maybe you can't get one.
I don't know if there is a satisfactory method to repair that. I can ask around and see if there's any company that specializes in that, but these are forged steel eye bars that they were, when they're forged in a factory somewhere, you could do something different. You could just do a cut eye bar, but now you're mixing and matching different grades of steel and different properties, and they're just not going to behave the same. I just don't know if it can be repaired.
Okay.
And then and that would just fix that portion of it. If you go through that amount of effort, there's a lot more work that should be done to improve the ride quality on it. I just don't know if I can try to come up with a number, but I'll be grasping at a lot of straws and taking a lot of assumptions to do so, I think.
All right.
Just a comment at a South Dakota officials county board meeting. It was brought up the RAFE funds, rural access infrastructure funds, and how some of that funds are being spent by some counties and the state, and there's talk of pulling that money back if it isn't used. We've done a pretty good job. We've done a really good job with our culvert program and our big program. As a matter of fact, it was mentioned that Brookings County was probably one of the best uses of those funds, if not the best, the model that should be used. And at the same time, even our model, we have some townships that don't take advantage or didn't do the work. And we have some that maxed it out. So kudos to Brookings County and to the townships that put that stuff together. And the commission over the years using that big program. There's a lot of bridges yet to go, but we've accomplished a lot in Brookings County, and I think everybody should know that we've done well. Could we have done better? Well, with a lot more money, yeah.
Yes.
But we've used our money well, and you guys have been advisors and engineers on all those projects, so I thank you for that.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? Thank you. Okay, moving on. Item number M, action to approve the renewal of a retail on-sale liquor license for Beach Bums Incorporated, Danceland Campground for January 1, 2025 to December 31st, 2025. Do I have a motion to approve?
Move approval.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any comments? No comments? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. Motion carried. Item N is action to approve rural access infrastructure funding projects for 2025. We'll go through each one of these individually. I'll start with Eureka Township. Do I have a motion to approve?
Move approval.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any comments?
I was out and visited each one of these sites, and there were particular townships that I was in contact with, and there were some that I wasn't in contact with. Looking back here, I was contacted by Eureka Township officials on this particular culvert. I had met with them in 2023. They had applied for it but never did the project.
Okay. Any questions? Hearing none, call the roll, please.
Hostler,
Aye.
Vanderwall,
Aye.
Bartley,
Aye.
Krogman,
Aye.
Jensen,
Aye.
motion carries.
Number 2, Laketon Township, number 1. They have motion to approve.
Move approval.
Second.
Motion second. Any comments?
I had been in contact with Layton Township. I think Stacy kind of took a little more over to clarify a few things on the applications. There was some differentiation between what was inventoried and what was actually out there. So with those edits on each application, I'm in agreement with replacement upon the inspection.
On this particular one, did they figure for the culvert the correct size in?
Correct. The estimate shows the correct size.
The estimate had the right size, but the application had the incorrect size. So we just had
Okay.
to work with them to make sure that we were approving what they wanted approved and had the right thing. And we do now.
All righty. Any other questions? Call the roll, please.
Vanderwall,
Aye.
Bartley,
Aye.
Krogman,
Aye.
Hostler,
Aye.
Jensen,
Aye.
motion carries.
Number 3, Laketon Township, number 2. They have motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
They have motion and a second. Any comments?
Same thing.
Okay.
Showed in the quote, the correct size and diameter, but the application was different.
All right. Any other questions? Call the roll.
Bartley?
Aye.
Krogman?
Aye.
Hostler?
Aye.
Vanderwall?
Aye.
Jensen?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Number 4, Oak Lake Township. Do I have a motion to approve?
Move approval?
Second.
A motion is second. Any comments?
I did reach out to Oak Lake Township officials. The only thing I caution on this, this particular application, I guess, they're just lengthening it, and we did speak with them on that, but there'd be additional costs to the township, and they were discussed with that, and they were good with that. So I'm good with this one.
Okay. Any other questions? Call the roll.
Krogman?
Aye.
Hostler?
Aye.
Vanderwall?
Aye.
Bartley?
Aye.
Jensen?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Number 5, Sherman Township, number 1. Motion to approve.
Move to approve.
Second.
A motion is second. Any comments?
On the application number 1, the way the application was submitted, it was stated to add a culvert. After discussing with the chairman, it was basically to add the culvert to lengthen it out, is what it, the way it got explained to me, not to add an additional culvert. So I guess this one I originally had recommended to do not approve, but after speaking with the chairman, I guess I'd recommend to approve this one because it's not adding a culvert, it's just adding on to a culvert.
Okay. Any other questions? Call the roll, please.
Hostler?
Aye.
Vanderwall?
Aye.
Bartley?
Aye.
Krogman?
Aye.
Jensen?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Sherman Township, number 2. I got a motion to approve.
Motion to approve for discussion.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Comments?
This particular one, after speaking with the chairman, they wanted to add a culvert. I guess that's not the intention of this program. It was discussed at that point in time that the chairman was going to take it back to his board and determine whether or not they wanted to do a study to determine whether or not to add a different or add more culverts. So at this point in time, with the application as submitted, I recommend do not approve.
Okay. Any further comments? Call the roll, please.
Vanderwall?
No.
Bartley?
No.
Krogman?
No.
Hostler?
Nope.
Jensen?
No.
Motion failed.
Sherman Township, number 3. Do I have a motion to approve?
Move for discussion purposes.
Second.
I have a motion and a second for discussion. Comments?
This application was submitted without a structure number at the point in time when we did the inventory back in 2021. It was determined that this is not a qualifying site as the culvert. Cumulative culverts added together do not equal the 16 square feet in opening, which does not qualify for the program, so I recommend.
Okay. Call the roll, please.
Bartley?
No.
Krogman?
No.
Hostler?
Nope.
Vanderwall?
No.
Jensen?
No.
Motion fails.
Sherman Township, number 4. Do I have a motion approved?
Move approval for discussion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second for discussion purposes. Comments?
Same thing on this one, the cumulative size of the opening of the culverts does not meet the 16 square feet in opening, thus it was not inventoried in the original inventory when Brookings County performed that in 2021. So I recommend do not approve.
Okay, call the roll, please.
Krogman?
No.
Hostler?
No.
Vanderwall?
No.
Bartley?
No.
Jensen?
No.
Motion fails.
Sherman Township, number 5. Do I have a motion approved?
Move approval.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion?
I recommend approval of this one. Was out there and looked at this site, and it is a qualifying site. It was in the original inventory. There's 3 culverts there. They'd be replacing 2. One has been replaced previously, so it's in pretty good shape, so I am in agreement with replacing those 2 culverts.
Okay. Any other questions? Call the roll, please.
Hostler?
Aye.
Vanderwall?
Aye.
Bartley?
Aye.
Krogman?
Aye.
Jensen?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay, move on to Sterling Township.
Move approval.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Discussion?
I recommend approval on this one. After discussing with the township officials, the original quote they gave Brookings County upon the application, looking at the amount and then going back and looking at what our culvert bids are, even the $11,887.08 wouldn't even cover those culverts. So I think we're okay with approving this, as Stacy and I discussed, based upon receiving a updated quote for this project, because the contractor that they got the original quote from is going to be retiring. Does that make sense to everybody? I guess that's kind of where Stacy and I left it.
Yeah, I mean, I think the only thing that would cause this problem, or this project not to move forward, would be if the quote came in and the township then decided they didn't have enough funds to match their 20%. Because this 11.8 is not, I mean, I think we did a high level estimate on culverts, and that was like 15 something, so.
Correct. It'd be based upon whether or not the township would have the funding in their account to cover their 20%.
Okay. So basically, the cost of the culvert is in question then?
Cost of the culvert and the quoted
Yeah.
price from the contractor.
Is there a way that we can table this, that until we get a better quote? Is there a deadline that we have to have these approved by?
We could, yes, we have to have them approved by January 15th, so it could be postponed until the first meeting in January, if that gives them enough time to get another quote.
I think that'd be,
Yeah. I'll make a motion to table this one until the first meeting in January. I think that's the 7th or
Yes.
yeah.
7th. So I'll make that motion.
I'll second that.
I had a motion and a second table Sterling Township project until next commission meeting, January 7th. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. Motion carried. Moving on to item Trenton Township number 1. Do I have a motion to approve?
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Comments?
I met with Trenton Township officials on April 4th and discussed all 3 of these projects. The way the applications are drafted by the township, I am in agreement with all 3. I know right now that they are some WPA structures, and the way we calculated the match would be for culverts, but they are within a half a square foot of each recommendation, and that's the way that Todd submitted them. So I am in agreement with all 3 of these.
Okay. Any other comments? Call the roll, please.
Vanderwall?
Aye.
Bartley?
Aye.
Krogman?
Aye.
Hostler?
Aye.
Jensen?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Trenton Township number 2, do I have a motion approved?
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any further comments? Call the roll, please.
Bartley.
Aye.
Krogman.
Aye.
Hostler.
Aye.
Vanderwall.
Aye.
Jensen.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Trenton Township number 3, do I have a motion to approve?
Move to approve.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any other comments? Hearing none, call the roll, please.
Krogman.
Aye.
Hostler.
Aye.
Vanderwall.
Aye.
Bartley.
Aye.
Jensen.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Next is Volga Township number 1. Do I have a motion to approve?
Move approval.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any comments?
Sorry, I did meet with the contractor on a few of these. The only one, number one, which is a cattle pass, after speaking with South Dakota LTAP advisor Greg Vavra regarding this site, typically cattle passes do not qualify, but as this, looking upstream and looking to see what other structures are in place, this would be the only likely passage of that water from the water upstream. So at that point in time, it would be a qualifying structure. They are not going to replace the structure itself. It's going to be resetting and tie bolting them together. And that was also something Greg said that would be acceptable, as it would be a maintenance item.
Okay.
And the other two that, like I said, I met with the township's contractor, and I do recommend approval.
All right, any comments on Volga Township number 1? Call the roll, please.
Hostler.
Aye.
Vanderwall.
Aye.
Bartley.
Aye.
Krogman.
Aye.
Jensen.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Volga Township number 2, do I have a motion to approve?
Move approval.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any further comments? Call the roll, please.
Vanderwall.
Aye.
Bartley.
Aye.
Krogman.
Aye.
Hostler.
Aye.
Jensen.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Volga Township number 3, do I have a motion to approve?
Move approval.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any other comments? Call the roll, please.
Bartley.
Aye.
Krogman.
Aye.
Hostler.
Aye.
Vanderwall.
Aye.
Jensen.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay, that's all the culvert projects. It's good to see a list like this. Shows townships are doing a good job and going to update some of their roads. So hopefully we can get a good year and get all these culverts installed. Moving on, O, action to transfer cash from budget line 101-4-221-4291 in the amount of $87,306.63 to Fund 759, the Brookings County Fire Trust Fund. Do I have a motion to approve?
Move approval. Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any comments?
So this is action that we take every year, the remaining budget that we have in the general fund, this fire department trust account. We move that in cash over to this 759 fund. It's the fire department's long-term fund where they keep more dollars there, and they have that dispersed by department for, it's kind of a savings account, so to speak, for all of the different fire departments in the county who are, kind of maybe saving some money to gear up to buy, larger ticket items, some equipment and whatnot. The state auditors, this past audit, don't want us holding that money any longer. They want us to truly treat the fire departments as a non-mandated entity and cut them a check like we do to all of our other non-mandateds and not hang on to that long-term trust fund any longer. That's why Dave Jacobson is here. He and I have been having some conversations about that, as he's the president of the Firefighters Association right now. At first, we kind of talked about trying to get this all done here at the end of the year, but I think what we're going to do is give the Fire Association some time to figure out how they want to handle these funds, because right now they don't have any money. It's all kind of kept with the county. So this action can still take place. We'll move that money over. We'll hang on to it. And then as we get kind of into the first quarter of the year, we will work with them and then get that money transferred over to them once they've had a chance to kind of get things figured out on their end.
That's as good an explanation as I could have done, but thanks for pumping the brakes on that when
Could you introduce
Stacy
yourself?
notified me last week, Wednesday, of what your auditor recommended. And
Dave, could you introduce yourself, please?
Oh, I'm sorry. Dave Jacobson with the Brookings County Firefighters Association.
Thank you.
Thanks for pumping the brakes on that. We did meet last Thursday night as the association with all 12 departments that service Brookings County, and threw some ideas around on what type of organization. An idea was thrown out to basically cut each individual department a check. I did run that by Stacy, and she was going to look into that. After discussion last Thursday, I think our association feels it would be better to form a nonprofit, and I'm using that word loosely. Haven't spoke with an attorney yet on what exact type of organization we would form, but just for the financial oversight. And I think in the last 4 years, our association has done a good job of explaining ourselves better and what we're saving that money for when we budget for it. In the past, you guys had looked at a lump sum dollar amount and maybe questioned what we're using that for. So every time I submit a budget to you, I put a brief description in there of what each department, is saving for in the long term. And I don't want the commission to lose sight of what our plans are, nor do I want our association to lose sight of what those funds are for, and that's for rural fire protection for the rural residents of Brookings County. So I think when we meet again, first week of January, we will move forward with forming, here again, loosely used a nonprofit with financial oversight from a CPA or bookkeeping firm to manage the funds, but I don't want to lose sight of that. I don't want our chiefs and our departments to just individually get the money and lose sight of what it's getting used for. And I think you guys would appreciate that as well. So we want to keep that money being used for what it's intended.
So each budget request, would that come by department, or would it just be the association request?
It comes to the association by department. I've compiled it and then presented it to
Yeah, but I mean,
Stacy
in the
with-
future, would it be by department, or are you just gonna
a lump
lump them? Okay.
with the description, again, of what we want to use or what each individual department wants to use that money for.
Okay.
If it's going to be required by the audit that we use these funds as a non-mandated fund, and we approve all mandated funds, would we not then expect that the fire departments come in individually, give us their request for the unmandated funds, and that way we get an explanation of what they're using the funds for to approve?
We've never done it that way. These funds have
Understand that.
always been brought to you and shown which departments are asking for what piece of the lump sum that the association is asking for. We would not be cutting checks to individual departments moving forward. We would be cutting one lump sum check or quarterly checks, however the association wants to do it throughout the year. But we would be cutting that check still directly to the association. Then they, on their end, would cut checks to those departments requesting those long-term funds. So what that means is the commission will no longer see, occasionally throughout the year, we would get several every year where the different fire departments are asking for funds out of the long-term fund. It would come here kind of as a separate action. The commission would look at that and take action on that because the county was holding the money and we had to cut the check.
Right,
So,
I understand that. I guess I'm wondering if you're looking for accountability to the commission for those funds as an unmandated fund that we're going to disperse, whether we do it in a lump sum to the association, they still have to make maybe a presentation to us how the departments are going to fund or save for a future project, so that when we cut that check, so to speak, we all have an idea, and so does the public, of how that money is going to be spent by each of the departments. we've never rejected any proposal that since I've been around for 8 years, but at the same time, it's always nice to know exactly that the thought and the process from each of the fire departments was vetted and thoroughly agreed upon by the group. So if there's a way to say in the unmandated funding process that you still prevent a report, and each of the departments has their list of because not every department uses those funds every year. You basically bank some of that through our fund, which we will have to disperse, I assume, at some point too. I don't envy you trying to put together a system to do this, but
Thankfully, we have more than between now and the end of the year.
yeah, exactly. But again, I think that responsibility to the county commission to look at those fire departments, because there may be requests down the road for other types of things they're funding from us, and you're always updated with how they use the funds. Still tax dollars given back, so good luck, Dave.
I completely anticipate still providing, and I'm elected every year too, so
Yeah.
I anticipate providing you guys with as much insight and as much, intelligence on what each individual department wants to do with those funds. Now, with the ARPA funds that we received in the last couple of years, a lot of that has changed, but their budget requests, a lot of them are still planning for a long-term project.
Sure.
And saving that money, whether it's held within the county's budget or in whatever sort of organization we put together, that money will still be held there. Whether it be a short-term need or a long-term project.
And that's kind of what I meant by nothing really changes on our end. We get the budget request. It includes all of the different departments' asks. Dave has that split out by department and what those department asks are for. The only change is that we will cut the association then one check instead of hanging on to it and then cutting checks either out of short-term or long-term funds throughout the year. It'll just all go to the association and they'll handle all of it. So it really will truly look like every other non-mandated entity has in the past.
And the fire association, I would assume, will have, maybe even your board will approve those. Just the departments will go to you guys instead of coming to us, is kind of what is that kind of your vision, Dave?
We haven't got into the weeds with that yet, but
Probably,
in brief discussion last Thursday night, but we focused more on, do we feel it'd be better for each of the 12 departments to get their own check, or having an organization with more oversight and more transparency on the money that you're giving us and what it's being used for. But whether we already have a board. Lots of things to figure out yet, but I totally anticipate having that transparency and oversight in there, so.
And I agree, you've done a very good job the last 4 years explaining the needs and showing us on paper what each department needed. I comment that you've done a good job at that.
Well, thank you. We meet again first week of January, and we'll move forward with the plans, and we'll certainly keep you in the loop, so.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any other comments? Call the roll, please.
Krogman?
Aye.
Hostler?
Aye.
Vanderwall?
Aye.
Bartley?
Aye.
Jensen?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Letter P, action approve a request to fill vacancy for a civil process deputy sheriff in the sheriff's office. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any comments? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Item Q, action approve a request to fill vacancy for an office coordinator at the Brookings County Outdoor Adventure Center. Do I have a motion to approve?
Move approval.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any comments? Hearing none, call a roll, please.
Hostler?
Nope, sorry, my bad. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. R, discussion and possible action on fund balance assignments. We have a motion to discuss.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any comments?
I provided a report that kind of spells out where, very high-level estimated where we will be here at year end, taking into account today's claims that were paid along with another payroll yet to come out in 2024. You can kind of see there, we'd like to be kind of around that 25% at year end is kind of our general goal. So I guess my recommendation would be between to designate or assign or to 4.5 million and within the general fund to get down to that general fund surplus level. You can see here on my report as well what we do have assignments for currently, some future economic development highway projects, just under 3 million. The Beta Bus Garage, 575 in the general fund, and then there's another 200,000 in the 301 or the capital projects fund. 3 million for 214th Street, 8 million for a new highway shop. And then also in the 301 fund, we have 20,000 for the 1921 parking lot. That project did not happen this summer. We're hoping to get that done next year, next season. So that will just stay there for now. So I guess you will need to discuss amongst yourselves what that might look like, but my recommendation would be probably about that 4 million for assignments to get us down to where we need to be.
Do you put some in the Beta Bus?
No, that's what I could speak on that. So where we're at on the Beta Bus is the appraisal has been completed. It's been to the state, and the state had to send it to the feds, and dealing with the feds, it's sitting on somebody's desk there. And so we're waiting for the federal to approve the appraisal. When that gets back, we'd be ready to go. And they're all out of there. They're ready to go. They can move it. It's just waiting. So, and that's been a consistent theme for Beta for a lot of years, dealing with building projects and different stuff like that. So I wouldn't recommend putting any more money in the Beta Bus Garage. I think we definitely have enough there. First of all, you probably want to use the 301 building fund, the 200,000 there, and then whatever above that number. And I think we have plenty of room there, so I wouldn't put any more into the Beta Bus Garage.
Okay.
But that being said, I'll just throw some numbers out there, seeing what you guys think, and we can talk through this a little bit. We need to be under 40%. So all three of these could work, but like you said, we've normally been down that number. I would agree that 4 million would be a good number to transfer. And I think, the 214th Street project is going to be a long process to get grants. I think the right way maybe to handle this is to continue to try to save for that project and continue to add money to it. I wouldn't say let's put all 4 million there. I don't know if that's the right way to go, but I was thinking at least put 2 million into that. And if over the next 3 to 5 years, you can continue to save a couple million, you might be able to do the project, on your own. But again, work diligently to try to get those grant funds, but just the way it sounds, it's going to be very, very difficult. So, and then the highway shop obviously is a priority. We've got a good start there, but looking the way funds have gone, it would make sense to add a little bit more to that as costs continue to rise. And then, you still have 3 million in future economic development highway projects that you could use for, again, future economic development projects. So I guess my thought would be put 2 million in the 214th Street and 2 million in the highway shop, and continue to save for those two projects.
Any other comments?
I would agree that's probably a pretty good space for those two projects because those are some of our higher priority.
It's a good idea. Forward thinking on both of those projects is necessary for funding.
I'll echo those.
Okay. I have a motion by Commissioner Krogman for 2 million to 214th Street and $2 million towards future highway shop. We have a second to that.
Hostler, second.
We have a second. Any additional comments? This is nice to, at the end of the year, to have this, to be able to do these projects and to save up for them. So when you do go forward, you know you have that money to use, and it kind of softens the blow when you get these some of these estimates and bids in. But I think it's a great deal to be able to forecast in the future and kind of plan this. So call the roll, please.
Hostler.
Aye.
Vanderwall.
Aye.
Bartley.
Aye.
Krogman.
Aye.
Jensen.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay, item number 9, Commission Department Directors Report.
Information for Veteran Service from our Veteran Service Officer, Matt Pillar, was included with my report with rides and outreach events, and then the payment information that he has been providing, showing what claims have been approved and what dollars are coming back to Brookings County veterans. That was included with my staff report. I would like to get a consensus from the board to advertise the BCOAC director position. If I can get a consensus for that, you'll see the proper paperwork. The actual request to fill vacancy will come at the next meeting then. It didn't have that in time for this meeting. I'm seeing enough shaking heads to get the consensus. Yes? Okay. General fund surplus for November month end was at 57%. That's why we were taking the action that we did just a few minutes ago, working on getting that down underneath that 40%. The 10-year average in November has been about 48%, so well above that 10-year average. I know it was mentioned at the last commission meeting that the commission would be having a pipeline discussion. I think Commissioner Jensen had mentioned January 7th. We did receive an email request from Mallory Miner. She has been here. She was here and spoke that day to move that discussion to the January 21st commission meeting. I think that is a good idea. January 7th is the very first meeting of the new year. We have a lot going on and 2 brand new commissioners starting that day. And although throwing them into the fire is a great way to learn things, but I think maybe that discussion can wait a couple of weeks, and that was a request from one of the people who have been here and talking with us about it. So thoughts on that?
I'll echo those thoughts. The other thing is there's going to be 6 meetings the week prior to, on the 15th, 16th, and 17th for the PUC. I think the public needs to focus on that, because that's where the decisions are going to be made, is with the PUC. So if the general public wants to get involved, I think those 6 meetings, people need to attend one of those. So I agree. Let's just move the discussion to the 21st.
Yeah.
Okay. Other than that, just some upcoming dates. I think I did let you know too, because it is tomorrow, but wanted to share that the East Brookings Business and Industry Association annual meeting is tomorrow, social at 5, and then the meeting from 5:30 to 6:30. That is out at Daktronics. Also tomorrow, it's a busy day. We have the retirement celebration for Commissioners Bartley and Krogman. It'll start at 3 o'clock here in the chambers. We will have coffee and cake, and we will celebrate you, and we will have a short presentation at 4 o'clock tomorrow as part of that. Then looking ahead to next week, offices will be closing at noon on December 24th and closed Wednesday, December 25th for Christmas. And then again, offices closed on January 1st for the New Year's Day holiday. And then January 7th is that first meeting of the year. We'll start at 7:30 again, just as a reminder for the commissioners that are here, and the commissioners-elect in the audience and commissioners here. We'll start with photos at 7:30 that morning. We'll do some oaths of office, Judge Stoltenberg will be here to administer those, and then we'll get into the regular meeting after that. And then I did put, as Commissioner Vanderwall had mentioned, those PUC meetings, I did list off a few of them that were kind of closest to us. So Southeast Technical College, that's down in Sioux Falls on the 15th. I guess I didn't have the city on there, but that's in Sioux Falls at 15th at 5. There's the one in DeSmet during the day on the 16th of January, and then again in Watertown up at the Campesca Hall, January 16th that evening. So a couple of them there. And then that's about it, other than, again, another holiday on the 20th. So that's all I have, unless you have any questions for me.
Thank you. State's Attorney's Office report.
Nothing to report.
Okay. Commissioner reports and discussion items. Commissioner Vanderwall.
Thank you. On Tuesday, December 3rd, I attended the Ag Appreciation Banquet. On Wednesday, December 4, I attended the Brookings Mayor's Reception out at the Dakota Bank Center. And then on Thursday, the December 5th, the annual weed meeting was held here in this building at 1 o'clock. So that's my report. Thank you.
Mr. Bartley.
All right, on Tuesday the 3rd was my last planning commission meeting. We approved everything tonight. I enjoyed my time on the planning commission. It was always, after almost 20 years on planning of some sort for the city or the county, I enjoyed it. It was a good meeting, last meeting. On the 4th, I also attended the mayor's party and it's the award ceremony. On the 11th, we had the South Dakota Association of County Commissioners Board meeting out in Pierre, kind of finalizing the year and getting ready for the next year. That was my last meeting with the board. The Sioux Valley District will appoint a new representative at their next meeting. On the 16th, last night, we had a Brookings Behavioral Health and Wellness Zoom meeting. The project update on the project and finances, everything is looking really good. Obviously, we're very, very excited to get into the new facility. They'll be moving in around February 7th to the new part of the building so that they can reconstruct and finish the other part of the building that's existing. So that's exciting to get the move and get that finished. So at some point in time, they'll have some public open houses again on the finished project, and people will get a chance to go through and take a look at how phenomenal facility. The county obviously participated in the funding of that project and also facilitating a grant through First District. So that's very much appreciated by the board. They have done a really remarkable job of fundraising to make sure that the building doesn't have a big mortgage, if any at all. I think they're only a couple $100,000 short of finishing that project and funding it completely, which is phenomenal for that size of a project, a little over $5 million. So wish them the best of luck. It's a great board, great facility. Just understand that there's never enough money for mental health services. Even though we've invested a lot, there's never enough money. But a good project, and I appreciate it. It was my last meeting. Thank you again for all of you and the commissioners and all the staff. It's been a great 8 years. I've enjoyed it. Think that I've accomplished what I needed to accomplish in that time. Was hoping to do more things, but you know what? You got some good commissioners coming on. They'll do a good job, and I wish them well with that. Anybody wants to show up tomorrow night to roast Krogman, go ahead. I don't need to be roasted. You do. You're retiring. So anyway, thank you. That's my report. And I appreciated my time. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Commissioner Krogman.
Yeah, had a board meeting for Beta on the 11th. Just like we said, that the building is just waiting for that appraisal. Also, on their new building, they are going to be planning an open house when they get done here. They're doing their final walkthroughs, and so they're getting pretty close. Probably something here in the spring is what they'll be looking at for that. So you'll get a notice for that. And so that'll be my last meeting. So they do serve lunch there, so that's a good one to get on. Commissioners. So just a heads up, wanted to let you guys know, these guys wouldn't have told you that. So that one for the beta, and then we had Brookings Health on the 16th, and they've had a phenomenal year. Below budget for expenses, above budget for revenue, and they've had a really good year out at Brookings Health too. And they also serve dinner at that one too, so that's a good one to get on too. So anyway, but yeah, it's been a pleasure and honor to serve Brookings County. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Hostler.
I have no report, but I would like to thank Commissioner Krogman and Commissioner Bartley for their 2 years of leadership, for a new commissioner coming on and their mentorship, and I wish you the best, and we will see you around the rink.
On the 3rd, I also attended the Ag Appreciation Banquet. On the 4th, at noon, an intergovernmental meeting, strategic planning, well attended by all the different entities within the Brookings. And in that evening, also went out to attended the Mayor's Awards Night. Interesting, all the awards that are handed out and the work that people do for the community. On the 10th, I did have at noon a pre-disaster mitigation meeting, a brief meeting. We have another follow-up meeting, I believe, the 30th. It's just planning for the future through Bob's office. So at 6 o'clock that evening, I attended the 1st District Local Review Committee up at Toronto for the new power plant being proposed, built up there. We actually went through the comments that were brought forth at the previous meeting, and basically the filing for the PUC. We approved it, and it'll be filed with the Public Utilities Commission, and the findings that we did at the local planning up there. It's scheduled, if everything goes as planned, for a 2029 operational. So it's quite a ways out, but the interesting project. I'd also like to thank Commissioner Bartley and Krogman for their service to the county. You will be missed. So thank you. Moving on.
I'd like to add to that, I have learned so much from these two individuals. I can't begin to, how many phone calls and texts back and forth. You will be missed. Thank you very much for your service. Much appreciated.
Okay. Item number 12, executive session in accordance with South Dakota Codified Law 1-25-2. Do I have a motion to enter?
So move.
Second.
And motion and second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. We're in executive session.